We're going to be talking about representation during the negotiation process. Now, in a different page, we talked a little bit about settlement agreements and how to negotiate. So I'm going to talk pretty briefly here about representation during negotiations. Now, the types of things that you and your employer may negotiate with are your employment contract, pay rises, transfers of employment. It could be about something to do with the conditions of your employment, whether you're going to receive a car or not, whether you're negotiating some sort of offset. It could be a negotiation about taking some leave. It could be a negotiation about absolutely anything. Now, sometimes it is easier to have a negotiation with a third party involved. A third party advocate, of course, but a third party. Because someone like MJT Law can actually remain emotionally detached from the actual issue. For instance, if you're trying to get a sabbatical because you want to travel the world because you have just discovered that classical music in Vienna is just wonderful, your employer's not going to care about that, unfortunately. So your employer's going to need to negotiate with somebody who's probably not quite as emotionally attached to going to Vienna to learn all about classical music as you are. What they're going to need to know are how the business plan is going to work, how you're going to exit the business, how long for, and how you're going to come back into the business, and what benefits you're going to give the business to come back. For instance, if we're talking about sabbatical reasons. And sometimes that is done better from a third party point of view. So some of the nitty gritty can be discussed in a way that's a bit more dispassionate. Of course, I think that it's really important that your employer understands how passionate you are about this, but also they need to understand how passionate you are about getting back to work too. Because the owner of the business or the person making the decision probably doesn't care about Vienna and classical music as much as you're going to. So we need to get a balance there and get the negotiations right. If it's a negotiation about pay, then it could have come to a impasse where you're saying no to X amount of dollars and your employer's saying no to Y. Somehow we need to get parties to kickstart that negotiation and to get it moving again. We can certainly help you employ strategies either in a ghost writing way, behind the scenes and giving you some prep talks and talking you through what to say and how to say it, or just in front forward negotiations with your employer about what is it that you want. There are other things that you might want to negotiate with your employer that you need our assistance on. Exit negotiations come to mind. I would suggest that if you are doing exit negotiations with your employer, unless you're in a very sophisticated role and you have a very sophisticated relationship with your employer, getting some external assistance in that negotiation will improve your chances of getting the right amount of money for you. Of course, lawyers and myself included, are not the decision makers here. So we cannot guarantee any decisions, but what we can do is we can help you strategize to get to the best decision possible. Yeah. Okay, I've been offered a job with a new company. Can we negotiate the terms of my employment, or do I have to accept whatever they put on the contract? So that's all about bargaining power. If you've got a job that is done by everyone everywhere, for instance, you might be a barista and you haven't won any awards, you haven't gone overseas, you haven't done any of these big barista events, you are a bog standard but good average barista. Yep. You probably don't have an awful lot of bargaining power because there's probably another guy right behind you who also does the same sort of quality work as you do. If you are a barista, for instance, who is super good at what you do, you've won a pile of awards, you've gone overseas, you've been in a pile of retail and food magazines because of your skill and expertise, you're probably going to have a little bit more bargaining power with your employer. So you're going to have a little bit more negotiation ability there. So it all depends when you're given a new employment contract from your employer as to what that bargaining power is. You might have a really unique job. I've come across clients who do one thing and they're the only person in the country or certainly in the state that does that one thing. And that obviously means that they've got a lot of bargaining power. But if you become a little bit too difficult, you might find that second best is good enough, and your employer might seek someone elsewhere. So it's a very, very fine line with these negotiations. You can actually go too far, even if you have a lot of bargaining power. So if you are looking at negotiating with your employer, absolutely, get some external help. Get somebody who's going to be able to assist you to have that negotiation in a way that makes absolute sense for you and can have that bit of commercial reality, so you can convince the employer that what you're asking for is going to be something that works for them as well. So there's that business plan, commercial reality aspect. I know here at MJT Law we can do that for you, and we would certainly encourage you to give us a call about that. But otherwise, you can negotiate with your employer and talk about, price, about restraints of trade, about confidentiality agreements, about time off. You can negotiate pretty much almost every term in the employment contract. My employer wants me to resign. I would be willing to do this if I was compensated accordingly. How can I achieve this? Actually, that comes up all the time. Okay, so you want to resign, or your employer wants you to resign. You don't necessarily want to. There's an obvious reason why your employer wants to resign, yeah? Somewhere along the line, the relationship between you and your employer has probably got a little bit tricky. And one of the advantages of having an exit negotiation is you can both leave this employment relationship with an agreement that you can both live with. So yes, we can absolutely help you with that exit negotiation. We can talk about what compensation looks like. There can be non-monetary remedies there as well as monetary remedies. And we can talk through with you and with your employer about how to get that right. My employer has placed me on a disciplinary action plan. We have decided that we will negotiate the best way forward. Can I get help from a lawyer with this? Look, you can. We're really good at negotiations here at MJT Law. We can negotiate about pretty much anything to do with employment. If it's about your performance plan, we can talk to your employer about how to get this right for you, what it would look like for success, or what an exit negotiation would look like, or perhaps you move into a different department. We've done all these things here at MJT Law, so certainly we can help you with that question and hopefully get the best possible result for you. Thank you for watching.